Well, hello, SNHU 107 students, and welcome to week 2 here in the SNHU 107 learning community. It's me, Melanie Shop, your SNHU 107 learning community gal, walking you through all the things that you need to get done this week for Module 2, week 2, but also making sure that you understand how to prioritize time for your success. First and foremost, your experience here in Southern New Hampshire University is important to us. It is our policy and practice to create an inclusive and accessible learning environment. If there are aspects of instruction or course design that present barriers to accessibility, please notify the Online Accessibility Center, the OAC, as soon as possible at 866-305-9430. You can also email them at oac@snhu.edu or visit the Online Accessibility Center website. As a reminder, the Online Accessibility team is here and is a department of SNHU that helps learners just like you get content in a way that works best for you. If you have questions about this, want to see if this is something that matches what you might need, please reach out directly to the Online Accessibility Center team. Oops, sorry guys. Couple of webinar reminders, as always, that the SNHU 107 learning community is an academic space, so always be mindful of your conduct. As another reminder, these webinars are not mandatory, they're not graded, there's no extra credit, but we will cover concepts and assignments in your SNHU 107 class from week to week. Hopefully you find them fun, interesting, and you're able to learn things to help you complete your assignment successfully. A couple of other things that are really important, especially as you're getting into the second week of your classes, is always make sure that you are reading and reviewing those course announcements that are in any of your SNHU classes that you are taking. You can always find them when you directly log into Brightspace, and always be sure that you're checking that SNHU University email. Y'all, it's so important because that is how the university communicates with you. Primarily is through your SNHU email address, and then also your instructors are constantly leaving tips for success, ideas for how you can work through the concepts and assignments from week to week in those course announcements. If you're stuck, if you have questions, you're not sure on something has come up in your life, please, please, please do not hesitate to email, call, some faculty even text message as soon as possible with any questions or things that you might need. We want you to be successful, and we can only help you if we know what's going on or the questions that you might have. As a reminder, as we kick off week 2 here, your week 1 grades that had to be manually graded by your instructor will be back by the Sunday of week 2. So some faculty grade as things come in, some grade throughout the week, some you might not see until this next Sunday. So just if you have questions about something, please reach out to your instructor. This week in week 2, module 2, we have your first journal assignment. So that is really important to make sure that you have Microsoft Word or something compatible. That way you are able to open up the template, because there's a template for the assignment, type right in it, and then when you submit it, your instructor is able to open the document to successfully grade it. As a reminder, you do get Office 365 for free as an SNHU student. And when I share the classroom space, I'll show you where to find that again, just in case you need it. It's really important that you know how to find and open that journal assignment template, and it is due by Sunday. As always, you could always turn that in earlier as convenient for your schedule. With the discussion, again, here in week 2, just a reminder, initial post is due by Thursday. Classmate responses, minimum of 2, are due by Sunday. Again, there too, if you want to work ahead earlier in the week, you can. I wanted to make sure real quick just to run through how to check your grades in your courses in case you're not sure. When you log into Brightspace, at the top, there's that menu. Click on course menu and scroll down to grades. When you click on grades, you're going to see a list of all of the course assignments for the term. For anything that has been graded, you're going to see the total of the points that you were awarded. Underneath the points category, you'll see a letter grade under grade, and then under comments and assessments, you'll be able to click so that you can review the faculty feedback that your instructor has spent time putting in for each assignment in the grade book that they have graded so far. Y'all, I cannot preface enough how important it is to make sure that you are reviewing that faculty feedback for each of your assignments, because your instructors often tell you like what you did well, what you might need to improve upon. if you missed points in certain areas, how to make sure you don't do that next time. But also they might be giving you some recommendations for SNHU resources to utilize for your success. So always make sure at a minimum that you're checking your grades weekly, but it's good to stay on top of your assignments as they are graded. So this week in Module 2, we're going to be talking a lot about time management, okay? Prioritizing your time, understanding what takes up our time, where our time gets interrupted, like what we can control, what we can't control. And I always love this quote by William Penn: time is what we want most, but what we use worst, right? So a couple of things I want you to definitely make sure you're thinking about as I chat through these next couple of slides is you are the one that is going to college. You are the one that has to put forth the energy and the time to make this degree happen, okay? So it is so important that you are doing what works best for you, especially when it comes to prioritizing your time. I'm going to give you a lot of ideas. In the classroom space, you might get a lot of ideas from your classmates about things that they do that makes them successful. It is wonderful to try things, y'all, but do not try to do all these things and completely revamp your schedule in a way that isn't something that's realistic for you. Really take a minute and think about you. Think about how you learn best, times of the day that work good for you, how you handle interruptions, or if your schedule gets off kilter, or if you don't have a routine, whatever it might be, you have to do things that work for you. So I like to remind you to think about your learning style, right? Does this sound like you? Are you somebody that needs routine, structure? You need all the details. You need to know the due dates and the deadlines. You need to know the information. If that is you, then make sure in your everyday that you have those things. If you are off of routine, let's get you into a routine. If you are missing some structure in your day, let's work on putting some structure in your day. If you're not sure on details or due dates or deadlines of an assignment, or it could be something at home or at work, ask those questions so that you feel confident in what you're doing from day to day. Okay. On the flip side, this might sound like you. Are you somebody that kind of needs to focus just on a few things? If you have a really long to-do list, it stresses you out, it overwhelms you. So you need a few things. Maybe you're somebody that needs to write things down, or use visuals in some way, shape, or form. I have students that tell me they have big whiteboards or chalkboards at their house. So they kind of have this big family calendar where they put their to-do list on. I have one student that uses a dry erase board marker and writes on their bathroom mirror, their to-do list every day. Cool. Whatever works for you, right? I like to give the example too, I'm somebody that has a routine, but I'm also somebody that I have to write things down to know what's on my agenda, what's on my day in different parts of my life. And I'm a big fan of crossing things off. It makes me motivated to keep going. So that works for me, where my husband does not necessarily need a lot of structure or routine, but he puts all of his things in a Google Calendar. Things are color coded. And he just rolls with his day that way. Everybody is different. I have students that have told me they use a planner with pretty pens and pencils and stickers and all that kind of cool stuff. And it's gorgeous and it's beautiful and it works for them. That might not work for you. And you don't need a fancy planner. You can go to the dollar spot at Target and get a planner that works for you. The biggest thing is how do you get organized? I also love to share every term. A student shared with me a few years ago that for them, hearing their to-do list and what they have coming up for that day is what helps them stay on track and stay focused. So they record their to-do list for the next day the night before they go to bed, and then they listen to it throughout the day and kind of mentally check those things off. Okay. So you're going to learn a lot this week too about your learning style. And there are kind of these main four learning styles. However, that's not the end all be all. So know that, and for many of us, we are a mix of learning styles. There's a mix of things that work for us as far as getting organized and having a routine that works for us. And just know that that's okay. But as you think about learning styles this week, you're going to be kind of focusing in on kind of the general learning styles, which are the read, write learning style, visual graphic learning style, auditory verbal learning style, and then the tactile kinesthetic learning style. So those are kind of the four. You're going to learn more about them within your module reading and your reading this week. But just remember, one learning style does not fit all. You might be a combo of many learning styles, and that's completely okay. Again, know what works for you. I always like to talk through some ideas and things for y'all to think about as you think about your time. We're all given those same 24 hours in a day, and it's up to us to utilize them in a way that benefits us, but also helping us achieve our goals. And you guys know I talk a lot about making sure that you schedule your SNHU time whenever that works best for you. Maybe it's in the morning, maybe it's after people go to bed because you're a night owl. Maybe it's during the nooks and crannies of your day, whatever it is, schedule in a way that works best for you because you're the one that's physically doing that work, right? I know many of you have other people in your household that you may take care of, those loved ones, or that you have to consider also, but try to navigate around that too with what would work best for you in an ideal situation. You have to learn how to prioritize. Not everything and everybody can be a priority number one all the time. So you kind of have to learn how to kind of structure people and tasks that you might have so that you can be successful as you work through scheduling your time. Be flexible with yourself. Sometimes we have great weeks with our managing our time. Other weeks, the wheels fall off the bus, and that happens. It happens to everybody. So just be flexible, be positive, communicate with your faculty, your advisors, employers, people at home. If you're struggling with kind of getting things done, whether it's academically, professionally, or at home, this kind of goes with all of the different things that you might have on your plate. I like to remind students too, it's okay to delegate. Maybe at home you might have a significant other or even older children, or somebody that's living with you that could pick up some of those tasks that you normally do. I always share that my youngest kiddo does the dishwasher. My oldest kiddo loads and like switches the laundry. That's their jobs. Sometimes I cannot find socks for days or certain dishes, but they have taken that off of my plate. It teaches them some responsibility, but it also takes that off of my plate and gives me some time to do some other things that I might need to get done. That's an example. Like sometimes if you have somebody else that can maybe mow the lawn or scoop the snow, or help with some of those things around the house, like keeping things clean, it can make a difference in your schedule. Or maybe seeing if somebody else can make dinner a couple nights a week. It's amazing how even like 30 minutes can make a difference in your day. Another idea is to prepare before. So if you're somebody that maybe your work schedule changes in the middle of the term or coming up, like planning ahead for those things is really important. Maybe you're somebody that's getting married or having a baby, like plan for those things ahead of time so that like your time isn't just gone or you find yourself overwhelmed or behind, like prepare before. Learn to say no, y'all. This is my favorite one. No is a complete sentence. You do not have to say yes to everything. You can't. And there's going to be, your time is precious and you only have so much time. So it's okay to say no. That just doesn't align with my goals right now. Or you know what? No, I can't do that right now, but maybe down the line in a couple weeks, that's something I could take on. Just think about it before you just say yes. That's really hard for us people pleasers out there. I totally understand. Eliminate those distractions and time stealers, y'all. Cell phones, gaming, um, scrolling the social media, the Netflix and chill. Those are some things that definitely distract students. Every term after term, students talk consistently about how much of a distraction their cell phone is. So you really need to learn how to kind of eliminate that distraction, put it in a different room, put it on silent. Don't take your phone with you and go study somewhere else. I mean, you can do it, but you want to eliminate those things because it can really impact your time. And students every term tell me how much of a distraction their cell phones are. That scrolling time, that Netflix time, watching videos, whatever it might be. But it's like, think about like, what are your big distractions and time stealers and how can you minimize them? Set timers for things, it's totally fine if you need like a minute to kind of decompress, like set a 10-minute timer. Because sometimes if you're scrolling social media or you start watching Netflix, all of a sudden like an hour might go by and you didn't even realize it. And just remember to always utilize your SNHU resources and social supports. You have so much support inside and outside the classroom, and we want to make sure that you are utilizing that for your success because often it can help with your time management too. So this week, like I mentioned, you have a journal assignment and you have a discussion assignment. So first, the discussion assignment, you're going to be talking about identifying schedule interruptions. You're going to be thinking about what can interrupt your schedule, what you have control over, what you do not have control over, and how you handle it. Plus, you're going to consider maybe how different cultures view time. So review the discussion prompts for your success Answer the questions based off of your experiences, your thoughts, share examples. That can always be really helpful. As a reminder, your initial discussion post is due by Thursday with minimum of 2 peer responses due by Sunday. Y'all remember with those classmate responses, just writing a couple of sentences is absolutely not going to cut it. You will not earn full points. Really take the time to build those relationships with your fellow classmates in your classes, stay relevant to topics, share examples, share commonalities, ask questions. There's a lot of things that you can do to really keep that conversation going. Okay. The other thing you have is you have your very first journal assignment. And your journal assignment, like I mentioned, you're going to open up a Word document. I'm going to show you where that is here in just a little bit. But you're going to be answering these 5 questions. Keep in mind that sometimes the questions have multiple pieces and parts. So always make sure you're answering all the questions. You type directly in the template. And it's really important to spell check your work. Make sure you're writing in complete sentences. So you're going to be answering these 5 questions. 1, what's your preferred receptive learning style? So choose from the following. And again, you can choose more than one, a variety of all. So you want to list out that learning style or learning styles. And then you want to explain how will understanding your learning style help you support your success inside and outside the classroom? So that's the first question. So again, you're going to name your learning style. And again, if it's a variety of a few of them, list all of them, and then write out your answer of how that's going to help you be successful inside and outside the classroom. One note, sometimes students like to highlight or underline which learning style they might be. Please don't do that. Please list it because it often gets missed or sometimes those highlights don't show up on our end. So just word to the wise there, okay? Question 2. Identify a problem-solving technique or method you have used in previous situations and explain how it worked for you. Identify how these methods might look different in diverse cultures or in different fields of work. Share your experiences, share your thoughts. Question 3, how do you plan to stay organized or prioritize your SNHU study time? Question 4, list the 5 habits of successful SNHU students. There is a infographic in the module 2 resources section that lists the 5 habits of successful SNHU students. So you want to list those habits here under question 4. And then, sorry guys, I'm going to go back. The computer has a mind of its own today. And then for question 5, you're going to choose 2 of those 5 habits that were listed that you would feel would be most helpful in prioritizing your study time while at SNHU and explain why. Don't miss that part, okay? Journal assignment is due by Sunday, but as always, you can turn it in earlier as convenient for your schedule. Before I share the classroom space real quick, I'm going to leave you with this quote by Harvey Mackay. It's one of my favorites. Time is free, but it's priceless. You can't own it, but you can use it. You can't keep it, but you can spend it. And once you've lost it, you never get it back. So make the most of your 24 hours in a day. I cannot tell you how important that is. And just for you to be able to keep on track with all of the things that you might have going on. Okay. So I wanted to show you just real quick here in the classroom space, couple of reminders. Like I mentioned, as an SNHU student, you get that Office 365 for free. So click on Online Student Services under the Help icon. And when you do that, you want to scroll down about halfway. You'll see this Office 365 and other software. Click the blue, gets you where you want to go. Follow the directions to get things downloaded. If you get stuck, something doesn't look like it's working right, reach out to our amazing SNHU help desk. You can also loop in your advisor too, okay? The other thing I wanted to point out for this week is underneath course menu, click on learning modules. We're going to navigate to module 2. That's where everything is for this week. Click on the blue, the module 2 introduction. Always make sure that you review the introduction and the overview. Always make sure that you are checking out those required resources. Underneath the required resources section, it tells you what textbook chapters you'll be reading. Also gives you some link to any videos, infographics, blogs, journals, other things that you might be reviewing that you'll need for your assignment. Remember how I said underneath the required resources section was the 5 habits of successful SNHU students? Here it is, okay? So always make sure you're clicking through all of those for your success. Again, for the discussion assignment, we're talking about scheduling interruptions. You're going to be answering these 4 questions. So make sure that you answer all pieces and parts of the questions. Initial discussion post is due by Thursday with peer responses due by Sunday. Now, I like to show students a couple of different ways To get to that assignment, underneath 2-2 journal learning habits, click on guidelines and rubric. And when you do that, it's going to give you an overview of the assignment, directions of the questions you're going to be answering, and then you're going to see under what to submit this module 2 journal template. That is what you actually want to click on. When you do that, it is going to pull up this document. There'll be a little thing that says enable editing. Click on that. But this is the actual template where you type directly in it. So for example, if my learning style was this one, I would share that. I'm going to type in here really quick. So I just want to show you this is my learning style. And then how I feel that would help me be successful inside and outside the classroom, right? Obviously spell check, write and complete sentences, but I just wanted to show you how you literally type directly right in the space. Okay, so same thing here. You type directly in the space. Make sure you answer each question that is there, and then you will save it and you will upload it underneath Module 2's journal assignment. If you get stuck, if you have questions, please do not hesitate to reach out to your instructor or your advisor. Y'all have an amazing week 2. I can't wait to see how you do this week. Remember, you got this, and I'll see you in week 3.